This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are Carrie Bostian and Miera Kim from Red Cedar Chamber Music. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Nice to have you back again. You've got a very special concert coming up. For many years, of course, one of these seats for interviews for Red Cedar was occupied by John Dowdall, one of the founding directors, and he and Jan retired, but they're back.
They are back. They've returned by popular demand, and we're just thrilled.
Carrie, sit up to the microphone just a little bit there.
Sure. We're just thrilled to have them back. They're just, we had such a great rapport with them, built over 10 years of working together.
Well, you collaborated many times in the Red Cedar ensemble together, and then worked together during, what was it, a year-long transition?
Oh, well, really 2 years.
Yeah.
Worked very closely, training and also making music together as a quartet. So it's been 2 years
Since they retired.
Since they retired, and here well, 2.5 really, and boy, we had a great time planning the program. We started rehearsing really early and planning the repertoire. It was tough to choose what we wanted to play because there were so many things we wanted to do and wanted to bring back to the audience. So we ended up having to leave a few ideas maybe for next time.
Well, for those who don't know, of course, the instrumentation is very different. That Jan and John were a flute guitar duo, and obviously when they moved on, the emphasis went to your instruments. And so now when you talk about bringing things back, I mean, you're not just bringing back familiar personalities, but you're bringing back a very different repertoire than what you've been playing since you've had the organization.
Well, absolutely. And Jan had always arranged a lot of music, and we had always commissioned a lot of music because flute and guitar with another instrument was an unusual combination. So we have this program which is basically music from 4 centuries, and it includes 3 arrangements by Jan, 2 of which are brand new. So things that she did for this program, or she's done since she left Red Cedar. And then we're also doing a Bach sonata with Jan on flute, which is something that we had done at our Backlash Bach program in the spring of 2017, giving Bach the Red Cedar treatment and making it a chamber music trio. We're doing that with Jan, and that's really, really great, great music and great music making. Jan and John's last commission piece for Music and Magic Lanterns 2015, Curfew Must Not Ring Tonight, by our composer-in-residence Stephen Cohn. And then Miera is the star for Macavity, the Mystery
and
Cat.
the star not as playing, but as narrating.
I guess you could call it that. Yeah. So there's a great piece by Humphrey Searle, and of course this was long before Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the musical Cats.
So we've got a few T.S. Eliot geeks in the house because Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats is the only book of poetry that I own, and Macavity was always my favorite. So I know this one as well as I know my own name, but I did not realize that there was a musical with narration version of it.
Yes, there is, and it's because Macavity's a naughty cat. He's a criminal, and he's elusive to the authorities, and so the poem's about that. And the musical setting has a spooky, mysterious flavor. It's flute, guitar, and cello, and then I'm narrating the poem over that.
And you've already been doing this portion of the program in some schools, yes?
We spent a week at Francis Marion Intermediate early in March, and the kids were great. We're having audience participation in the poem, and they just caught right on. We even used dynamics.
Okay.
It takes a little rehearsal, but we get them going.
I'll bet the kids picked that up really quick. I suspect you'll have to work in a more remedial fashion with the adults at your upcoming shows.
Some audiences we've had recognize the poem right away and actually jump in when I first read it and join in with Macavity's not there. But Others are, a little shyer.
Well, as usual, you've got a couple of main concerts in Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, and then some concerts out in the territory, as they used to say.
Yeah, there are 18. We've already done 5 performances of this program last week, and there are 12 more or 13 more coming
Yikes.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, in the next 2 weeks. The main stage concerts are Saturday, October 6th.
No, April.
Saturday.
April.
Saturday. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's a 4-month tour.
Saturday, April 6th at 7 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church, Cedar Rapids, and Sunday, April 7th at 7 p.m. It's a different time. Sunday evening at 7 p.m. at the Unitarian Universalists Society, and we have a lot of daytime shows that are all free. And Cedar Rapids Public Library coming up this Friday at noon, and a couple others. But our rural outreach is pretty extensive. We have 2 weeks starting this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central City. That's March 27th. The 28th, Thursday at Lau Park. Friday evening, March 29th at Solon, St. Peter's and Paul. Saturday evening, we're at Ainsworth Opera House, and that's great. And then the following week, on Wednesday, we're in Monticello, Thursday in Williamsburg, and then Friday, United Church of Christ in Tipton, Iowa. So we're really getting around. It was nice to schedule this and select some of John and Jan's favorite venues for kind of a bit of a homecoming.
Sure. Sure. Well, we, love the new spin on Red Cedar that you all have put on it, but of course we, kind of miss John and Jan too. So it's nice to have them back as well.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. It really feels like musical family. I mean, they're friends and mentors and great musicians, so it's been a real pleasure.
Well, there are over a dozen chances to see this program in Cedar Rapids and in Iowa City and all around the area. Again, we hit you with a lot of times and dates and places, so you can visit the website for the full list if you want to catch any of those shows, and that is
www.redcedar.org.
Carrie and Miera, thanks so much for being here.
Thank
and
you.
Boy, and have fun with this show. And,
We are.
And tell
Thanks.
John and Jan we all said hi.
Yeah,
We will.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most Thursdays and Fridays at 10:20, or download and watch or listen to the podcast using your favorite podcast app or at kcck.org/culture. I'm Dennis Green.